Hey there, how are you guys doing? So today I have another recipe video, and this is going to be for my chicken enchiladas. I just have to grab a few more ingredients. And this is a family favorite of ours. My kids love it. I ate this when I was growing up. Now you can make this two different ways. You can make this with beef or with chicken. I prefer chicken just because I'm not that big of a fan of beef, so we like the chicken kind. Sorry. So what you're going to need first off, you're going to need a sharp knife, a cutting board, a 13 by 9 pan that's sitting over here, and a large mixing bowl that I have off to the side to put my ingredients in. And I'll move that away. You're also going to need either some corn or flour shells. You can use I prefer the corn, and I'll tell you why now. We had used the flour shells for years, up until probably, about 2 years ago. And we always have leftovers because I always have to make a bunch. And I realized that after the second day, the flour shells would get kind of like mushy, just not very. It just wasn't good the second day. I mean, the ingredients were good except for the flour shells got mushy and just, yeah, they just had a weird consistency after the second day. So I have decided to start using corn shells for mine. So you're going to need a bag of corn shells. Move those over. You're going to need some chicken. I cooked this last night so that it would be easier to make this today because I'm hoping I'll have this done in time for my son. And I have an hour, so I've got to get going. So I have, I have 5 chicken breasts here that I cooked last night in the oven. I just baked them 350 for about 45 minutes or so, depending on how thick and how big your chicken breasts are. You're also going to need 2 cans. You can't even use 3, or you can use 1, just depends on your preference. I have 2 cans of La Victoria diced green chilies. These are fire roasted and they are mild. I also have a can of Rotel here, diced tomatoes and green chilies I'm going to add. Typically I don't add these, but I'm going to add these this time to see how it, if it affects the flavor any. And I have a large jar of La Victoria red enchilada sauce. You can make this yourself. I know my mom has made her own, and I think maybe once I made homemade enchilada sauce, but if you're in a hurry, the canned stuff is perfectly fine. You're also going to need some sour cream. I'm not sure if that's in the shot. Here, I just have my tea, I'll move that. So you're going to need some sour cream, and I never measure anything, so if you guys want exact measurements, then yeah, I'll try to give you exactly what I'm using. I also have half of an onion here I'm going to use, and some cheese. I'm using mild cheddar. Also in the back I have some garlic, salt, seasoned salt, and some pepper. I'm going to use those also. So what you want to do is, I'm going to go grab my can opener. I didn't realize I didn't have it. Okay, so I'm going to open my enchilada sauce, and I'm just going to do all this without pausing. So how's your guys' day going? Mine's going good. Just trying to get dinner done early, so if my son wants me to take him something to school, I can. This is like one of his favorite things. I mean, when I told him yesterday I was making this, he got so excited. That's open. Open my green chilies, and the green chilies add so much extra flavor. You can actually even put these on tacos if you like. And I just love the flavor they give. Okay, opening my second can. This can opener is, we bought a new one, and we bought this one and it has a lock on it, and it just doesn't want to work right. So, and I swear, since my husband and I moved in together, we probably went through like 6 or 7 can openers. I don't know why, they just don't seem to last. Okay, last can. And I prefer to wipe off the top of my cans before I know today I didn't, but if I have time and I'm not recording, I'll wipe off the tops of my cans. I mean, my cans are in my house, so I mean, they don't get that dirty, but I prefer to do that. So to start off, I'm going to take some of my enchilada sauce, pull it off of there. I should have a garbage over here. Let me go grab something quick. I am not prepared today. I tried to be prepared, and I'm just not. Okay. I'm gonna grab a bag for garbage. So what you want to do is you want to get your 13 by 9 inch baking. This is clean. It's just stained. Yeah, I've taken a scrub brush to this. Like I said, I know it looks dirty. It is stained. I promise. I've washed it. Okay. So you want to take about a quarter cup of your enchilada sauce and pour maybe a little bit more than that. Pour it into the bottom of your pan. And this just keeps the enchiladas from sticking. And if you have some Pam spray, which we just ran out, I need to get some more. You can also spray this with Pam. So I put that in the bottom. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to get my chicken. Move those out of the way. Scoot it. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to grab my chicken breast. Like I said, it makes it a lot easier if you cook the chicken the night before or the day before, just because it cooks a little bit faster if you cook it the day of, but it just is easier if you're in a time crunch to cook it the night before. And I would have had 6, but my daughter had one last night. So you can do this 2 different ways. You can shred it with a fork, or you can cut it into, you can chop it up, and that's what I prefer to do. It takes a lot less time. So when you have hungry kids expecting food, like my son, he gets a little impatient. Okay, sorry about that, moving the camera. Okay. I'm gonna chop mine up into about, I don't know, 1/2 inch pieces. I'm not really good with measuring, but I'll just go with that. And you know what, that's making it so difficult because I have another one underneath it. Just move. If you hear a loud thud, that's the cutting board hitting the ground. Okay. So this doesn't take too much time. Sorry, I keep bumping my camera. I was hoping it was going to be pretty today. It was beautiful yesterday. I mean, there was no clouds in the sky. It was just gorgeous. And today it's overcast. I'm hoping that it's going to burn off because I would love to have another day like yesterday. Okay. Use this. Just finishing dicing all this up. And I finally, after months, I've started on a new craft project. I don't think I've uploaded the video. I don't know what I've uploaded, what I haven't, but I went to one of our local thrift stores looking for, oh man, some of those might be a little too big. Looking for a masquerade mask for my daughter who's having a masquerade themed dance in her school. And that should be fine. And they didn't have one there, which I pretty much had assumed. I just wanted to see. I actually went to two. And the first one I went to, they didn't have any masks, like I said. But they did have, I found two things. I found this really cute little planter, or whatever it's called, little planter deal, that I put my, I replanted my cactus into it. I still have this one over here. I don't know if you guys can see that I need to plant into something bigger. But it has hearts on it. It's perfect for Valentine's Day. It's perfect for all year, which I'll, keep it in there all year. I wouldn't move it. And this pan might be a little, or this bowl might be a little small. Okay, so I have dirty hands now. I've diced up all my chicken, and now I'm going to add in some enchilada sauce to this. You want to add in about, I don't know, half of what you have left. Okay, or maybe a little bit more right beside your can. If you have your hand, you can do it that way. All right, I'm gonna move the enchilada sauce back over. Okay, and then I'm going to dice up my onion. Okay. And if you don't like onion, you can leave this out. I really love onion. I think it has great flavor. And I find it really easy to cut my onion up if I take the skin off and if I cut it like so. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so all I do, I'll show it backwards, is I take the onion and I cut into it about 3/4 of the way. I just slice it like so and go all the way in, like I said, about 3/4 of the way, and then take it like this and then cut into it this way. Not all the way though. And it's much easier to dice it. And then okay. Some of these pieces didn't get cut enough. Okay. So that's about half to 3/4 of an onion, a medium-sized onion. Just gonna toss that in there. My family loves onions. Except for my daughter. She doesn't really care for them. She'll eat them, and with this, they're all going to be cooked up, so that's not going to do anything. Move my bowl back. I'm going to add in both my cans of green chilies. Sorry for the noise. And then I always rinse my cans out before I put them in the garbage. See how they're fire roasted? You see the little specks of black in there? That's from being fire roasted. Oh, you're going to also need a large spoon to mix that all up. Okay, next, I gotta grab a spoon. Okay, just a second. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab some sour cream. We also use some of the sour cream to garnish. So I'm going to add, I don't know, about a half a cup of sour cream. Yeah, that's good. Okay. That back. Okay, and then I'm going to probably pause the video for this. I'm going to grate about 2 cups of medium cheddar. so about 2 cups I'm going to go ahead and shred. I'm not being exact. I don't know exactly how much it's going to turn out to be, but about that size of brick. Okay, so I've shredded about half of the piece that I had cut. This half is going to be going on top of this when I put it in the oven. And this amount right here. Oh, no, okay, a second. Move my bowl back over, and I'm going to put about 1.5 cups, maybe. Like I said, I'm not great with measurements, into the bowl. Okay, I forgot to add in my Rotel, so I'll go ahead and add in, about 1/2 container, let's see. Okay, so the enchilada sauce I'm using is 28 ounces, and I'm using 2 cans of 7-ounce green chilies. So I'm using 14 ounces of green chilies to this. And I'm going to now stir this up. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add my seasonings. Got the fan on so the peppers kind of blowing away. Make sure, I've done that a couple times where I paused the video and I thought I unpaused it and I actually didn't, so I had to go back and for the second time and record. So I was just checking to make sure I had to press the record button again. Okay, so I'm just going to mix all this up. This is where you're going to want your tortilla shells to be ready. This is a lot of, it's going to make a lot of enchiladas. And then I will, as soon as I get this in the oven, I will talk about how I garnish this. Ah, man, this is a lot of ingredients. And when I try to somewhat measure like how much it weighs when I put it in the oven, and usually it's about 7 pounds of ingredients with the pan and all. So it's a lot. Okay. Now, again, there is 2 different ways that you can do this. My shell's got water on it. Ew. Okay. So, how we used to do it, let me move all these. Let me put my sour cream in the fridge. Sorry for that loud noise. I'm running out of space. And the reason I do this on my table is because I have, I have a lot of counter space, but I don't have a big enough area to film. That's why I film on my table. Let me get my cheese in the fridge as well. So I'm kind of clearing some things out, moving all my cans out of the way. Okay, so now I've kind of moved things. All right, sorry you guys. Might be kind of a lengthy video, but that's okay. I'm gonna move my cutting board over to my sink. Got some stuff on my table, that's okay. All right, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, this is probably the easiest way to do this. I'm gonna add a little bit more of that sauce to the bottom of the baking dish. Just want to make sure that I get an even coating. Okay, so now here's where this can go 2 different ways. You can take your shell, and I am going to warm these up a little bit just for this, so I can show you guys how to do this once. You want to take a stack of shells. If you're going to use the roll them up method, then you would need to put these in the microwave for about 30 seconds just to soften them up, because the corn shells are they're very rigid, and when you fold them up, they tend to break or tear apart. So this is just a one-time thing. I actually am not going to do it this way, but I'll show you how you can. Ooh, that's warm. See how they're much